Hey there, everybody. It's me, Stephen Thomas, with Reports on Housing. And yes, we're back. It was a fun vacation time, and it's beautiful outside, really warm, beach weather. But you know what? Have to get back to the grind. I have to bring you the latest and greatest. So here's another housing debrief. This is episode 20, season 4. And I just want to invite everybody to, like and subscribe to our channel. That's how social media works. The more you get those likes and subscribers, the more we can get the great information out there so people can make great decisions about housing, by looking at the proper data, the proper statistics, and somebody that, this is what I've been doing for a super long time. I have a quantitative economics decision science degree and not pat myself on the back. It's just, this is what I do. I'm a housing analyst, having a lot of fun bringing everybody the latest and greatest and trying to set proper expectations so people can make really good adult, mature decisions. So, we're going to get into the second half of 2023 housing forecast. Kind of going to go over where the housing forecast for this year is right now. We've put our forecast together in September and try to show what we think is going to happen for the coming year. So in September, we were talking about 2023, and for the most part, we did pretty darn well. However, the number one forecast that I had, as well as everybody I talked to, was that this was going to be a weird year. It was a weird year in 2020, 2021, 2022, and we thought once again it was going to be a weird year. And you know what? It definitely, forecast number one, weird year, came true. That's for sure. So let's get into my 2023 forecast that I did in September. The one that I went live to everybody was in December, but it really didn't change anything from September on. Want to go over that. One of the things that we talked about was distress rises slightly, there would be no wave. And I want to point out, this is courtesy of Black Knight. The national delinquency rate actually edged down over the last month. They do this on a monthly basis, and this is almost all-time low. It's at decades low, and that's the level where it's currently at right now. The reason for this is people think, man, when things slow down, it's supposed to be like the Great Recession. However, since the Great Recession and Dodd-Frank, everybody has been peeling off into wonderful fixed rate products. They've had to fully qualify. There's no subprime. There's no junk. There's not a lot of strange mortgage origination going on. So as a result, everybody has good FICO scores. They qualify. They've got good jobs. And now they have a tremendous amount of equity. When you have a tremendous amount of equity and a good job and strong credit reports, you're not going to see that much delinquency. As a matter of fact, even if you got yourself in a pickle, you can sell your home. So that's definitely not happening. You can see it translating to the Southern California distressed listings, the number that we had. It creeped up, edged up a little bit, and it's actually come down a little bit since creeping up at the very start of the year, and really has not done much at all. So we just absolutely do not have distressed. Now, the next thing that we talked about was normal housing seasons. That's absolutely happened. Spring is number one. And I know that people are going, man, we didn't have a robust spring, but spring is the hottest time of the year. Summer is number two, and then it's autumn, then it's winter, and then finally it's actually, in between all that is holidays, in between autumn and winter. And we're following it verbatim, the way that this normal cycle occurs, and we'll get into what those cycles look like later on in the broadcast. Let's talk about another forecast that we had. The muted demand continues due to persistent high rates, but rises as rates drop. Now, we haven't had that the rise yet, and that leads us into what I was feeling is going to happen for the second half of 2023. That's what I was talking about as rates ease a little bit. Haven't had that easing happen yet, but that does not mean it's not going to happen. So wanted to go over demand. Right now, today, we're at 10,878. It's actually the lowest level since I started doing all of SoCal in 2012. And it's very reminiscent of levels that we reached during the Great Recession when, in a couple of different counties that I was tracking. The difference this time is that we don't have a slew of foreclosure and distressed activity. We're doing far fewer units, which affects everybody that is tied to real estate. For everybody out there, it kind of feels like the recession, the Great Recession, as far as number of units are concerned. But as far as the homeowner is concerned, that is not at all what's going on. So you could see last year we were at 11,899, very close to where we were last year. You could see that orange line, that it was a lot more at the beginning of the year, and then it edged down as interest rates continue to go up. And it's 9% higher than where we are today. Today to last year, it's squeezing closer and closer together. Now, prior to COVID, that's 2017 to 19, every year it's very, very similar, but I like to take right before COVID, 2017 to 19, we were at 16,441, which is 51% higher. You can understand that last year was even muted compared to pre-COVID years, especially at this juncture. So, which leads us to our next point, which is low inventory. So we talked about demand. We thought there'd be low inventory to start the year, under 25,000, normals around 35,000, and then a rise in inventory below the long run average. So the long run average we'll get into in a second, but you can see right now, this is where right now today where the active inventory is, and it's not going to go up much more from here. And I'll show you so far what's happened so far this year, but we just edged above 20,000 within the last couple of weeks, which is not a lot of homes. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of January, we had 22,000 homes in all of SoCal, and right now there are 20,260. And you can see it's very, very close to 2021, which is that red line. Last year, there was 30,533, which is 51% higher, and that's that orange line. So we had a lot more inventory, and it was growing at a very, very fast clip, although it did peak in August. Pre-COVID, prior to COVID, the 3-year average is 41,233, which is more than double. That's what 104% means. So we should have more than double the number of homes on the market right now. So we have very few, 20,260. It's almost identical to where we were in 2021, and we're going to be following that 2021 line for the rest of the year. Now, we got to talk about hunkering down. There's hunkering down, golden handcuffs, locked in mortgages. There's a lot of different terms for what this is, but it's pretty much it's across the board. We're definitely seeing an issue with the number of homes coming on the market. Now, when we first went into COVID, we had, and depending upon which county, but SoCal as a whole, we were down 9% compared to the 3-year average, 2017, 18, 19. The same number of homes come on the market every year. But if we compare it to that 3-year average prior, in 2020, missing 9% of the number of typical homeowners. In 2021, still had COVID, but it wasn't as big of an effect, and we were down 7%. Now, 2022, it wasn't COVID, but it was interest rates. We were down 19%, missing 51,200 signs. Now, January to June of this year, missing 41% or 60,000. That's just the first half of the year, and missing 60,000, which means for the year, we're going to be missing over 100,000 sellers throughout SoCal. A big, significant number of typical residential resale activity. If you wonder why it's so muted out there and you can't find that many for sale signs, it boils down to exactly this. There are fewer homes coming on the market. And you can see it when I drill down, and this is through June. Now, the orange 2023, those bars, you could see how off it was on a monthly basis compared to that same month prior to COVID. And that orange, those 6 bars, are greater than, added up total to all of 2022. And you can see the initial COVID lockdown on the left. So we're missing a lot of for sale signs. That really is the story. And people are hunkering down. Why? Because they have really low underlying fixed rate mortgages that they're enjoying, that they would be absolutely, there's so many people that feel, it'd be silly for us to sell right now. So that's why we're having fewer homes coming on the market right now. Now, we also talked about luxury sluggish transition to normal, longer market times. And I'm going to show you a few slides to demonstrate this. Now, the inventory, you saw how muted the inventory was for all of Southern California. But this inventory has been growing throughout the year. This is luxury. There are different luxury levels. It's the top 10% of each of the markets. For Orange County and Los Angeles, it's 2 million plus. That's the top 10% of all closed sales in 2022. In San Diego, it's 1.5 million plus. Riverside County, it's 1 million plus. And it is $800,000 plus in San Bernardino. And you can see where we're at right now. It is very, very similar to where we grew to in 2022, where things started to really slow. Now, there's a big disparity between how swift the market is in the upper ranges compared to the lower ranges. The lower ranges are actually hotter than where they were last year at this time. Now, the upper ranges are very, very similar to where they were last year at this time, and that is because last year's when the luxury market started to really slow. The regular market slowed about a month or two prior, but the luxury market really slowed last year at this time over the summer of 2022. And now luxury demand, you can see this, it has really been kind of flat, very, very similar to the rest of Southern California demand. It's been flat. It's very similar to where the demand level drilled down to last year at this time. And you can see on the right that every year we have demand that diminishes for the rest of the year. It slows down. And that's true for for the whole entire market and also luxury. You don't expect this thing to be flat for the remainder of the year. Now, as far as the expected market time, it's gravitating towards normal. Now, it was in right around 115 a day expected market time. That's if you place your home on the market, when you open up escrow. Earlier in the year, around the start of March, but ever since then, it's been marching upwards. And right now, you can see it's very, very similar to where it was last year at this time, and it's making its way towards 150-day expected market time. Which is a lot higher than the overall general market, which we'll illustrate at the very end. Now, also wanted to talk about closed sales. I thought they'd be down about 6.5% to 8% because throughout the year. Now, this is taking into consideration the first half I knew was going to be off, but the second half, we thought that interest rates would start to come down a little bit by the second half of the year, and a little bit more than where they are right now. Now, do I still think they're going to come down from here? Yes, I actually do. I just think we're a little bit late to the party because the overall United States economy has been too strong. So closed sales, I'll show you what's happened to closed sales. Now, closed sales through June is down 30%. Those are those blue bars. And by year's end, it'll be down anywhere from 16 to 20%, down 16 or down 20%, someplace in between there, because you can see the orange bars were last year. We've been staying pretty consistent as far as the blue bars are concerned. So they might come down a little bit, but you can see those orange bars, they really came down the second half of the year compared to the first half of 2022. So we're going to be comparing more similar data for the remainder of the year. So, and another thing, home values in 2023 down 6.5%. Now, I was one of the lightest people. I started this in September. I was probably one of the lightest as far as how far values would come down. And across, everybody's like recalibrated their forecasts. I don't recalibrate my forecasts. Instead, I look back and I say, okay, how did we get it wrong? And pretty much it's interest rates and when they start to decline, and not taking into consideration how low the inventory got as well with the number of people that are hunkering down. I did not know that in many markets we would have fewer homes coming on the market than even the first month of COVID, April of 2020. When you have that few, when you have such a low supply of homes, that really feeds into with supply and demand, it overrides how high interest rates are and overrides how there is affordability issue, and instead we get values going up. And I'll demonstrate this. This is Freddie Mac. This is January through May. They release it at the very, very end of the month, every month. And you can see January to May is up 4.6%. Now, you could see December, it was down. It was down from June all the way through December, and then it bottomed in December, and every single month since then has been going up. Year over year, it's down 2.9%, but like I said, by the time we get to December, it's actually going to be positive. And the Freddie Mac house price index month over month for San Diego, you can see January to May up 6.2%, and year over year is down 2.3%. So we're back to it going up at a very fast clip, the fastest in San Diego because they have the biggest issue with the lack of homes on the market. And then you have Riverside and San Bernardino is January to May is up 3.3%, and year over year is down 3.5%. So they're not coming back as quick, but they actually have been up every month, January through May so far this year, and this trend will continue. So, which brings us to mortgage rates around 6.5% and strong potential to drop second half of the year. Now, I was thinking two things: that we would start to see interest rates come down a little bit earlier than than right now where they're at. I still anticipate they're going to start coming down a little bit more in August, and I've got my various reasons for that. But let's get into where interest rates have. But first, let's take a little toast and have a beer and throw some darts. That is how it's very analogous to forecasting where rates are going to be. We put levels in there, and yeah, you can hit those levels. The levels are really easy, but as far as telling you exactly when the charts are going to behave in a certain way so that interest rates come down more or they go up more is very, very hard to look through that crystal ball. As a matter of fact, that crystal ball is completely blank. You cannot see past it. Now, the Freddie Mac Mortgage Market Survey is probably the most accurate one. We use a daily one, but the daily one is for no points. Most everybody out there pays a point, and that's what Freddie Mac does. So right now it's at 6.78%, but you can see it's dipped all the way as low as the very, very low sixes, all the way up towards 7%. So it's hovering around that range, and it's really sticky right around 6.5%, and that's where we think it's going to continue until we start to get some more reads on the economy. We had a really good read on consumer price index, as well as the retail sales was a good read. And there's other factions of the economy and other things like leading economic indicators that we're following that show that it's imminent that things are going to slow down. Does it mean we're going to go in a recession? Not necessarily. It means that the economy is definitely going to shift and slow a bit from where it's at right now today. Which brings me to the second half of 2023 forecast. But first, I would like to thank our wonderful sponsor, and this sponsor, he absolutely specializes in reverse mortgages. This reverse mortgage product is excellent, especially for baby boomers, those your parents that would like to stay in their home. They maybe would like or make a move. They can make a move and buy a house and not have a mortgage payment, or they can refinance and not have a mortgage payment or take money out on a monthly basis. This reverse mortgage process is incredible. The Senior Financial Group, Inc., they specialize in reverse mortgages, and it's Kevin Kaltenbach, Senior Financial Group, Inc. You can contact him at 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. And it's just a fantastic product. It had a bad rap before, but this product has it's gone through the scrutiny of the government and put together a great program. And this is a really good program. My uncle and aunt out in Colorado are using it because it makes sense, because he needed to retire and didn't want a payment on a monthly basis. So with a reverse mortgage for purchase loan, you can help your senior homeowner sell their current residence, use the equity to buy their next primary residence in one simple transaction with no monthly mortgage payment. And Kevin has he's specialized in reverse mortgages since 2001. He is a 2023 director at the Orange County Realtors. He's very, very involved, and you can contact him, have him help you, have him help your friends, your loved ones. He's at Senior Financial Group Inc. 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. But once again, thank you, Kevin, for your sponsorship. And now back to the program, the second half of 2023 forecast. Yes, I do have some concerns. My concerns are very, very similar to some of the concerns that I had at the beginning of last year leading into 2023. It's one of them actually is the economy remains too hot. It's been one of those things where the economy's been outshining a lot of people's forecasts and predictions. What the inverted yield curve and everything else indicated that we should have been slowing down, but we weren't. The jobs market has been off the hook. So my concern is that the Fed overshoots and continues to hike rates. They're going to do it next week. I don't think they should do it next week. I'm hoping that there's enough data in August, and that's what my gut tells me. There's going to be more data in August that's going to prevent them from raising it at a quarter point in September. But they're most likely going to do it next week. Don't think they should do that. Definitely don't think they should do it in September. They just need to be patient and wait, because economics is boring. I love it, but it's long-term fun. And if you're not into the long-term fun and you don't like to watch paint dry like I do and other housing analysts and economists, we get excited about the littlest things. So they don't need to do it. And another thing that I'm concerned about is hunker down trend deepens or continues to remain deep from where it's at right now. So that's actually one of my fears, and it's definitely going to continue as long as we have rates at as high of levels as where they are. Once we have rates that ease, there will be more homeowners that come on the market. You won't see it in the inventory rising because demand will increase as well. However, you'll see it in the number of units. We will do more units once the rates drop enough. And I also wanted to talk about something else that I'm concerned about. The sales above list price. This is courtesy of California Association of Realtors. It is now above 50%. 51.2% in the month of June closed for every closed sale in the state of California sold above their asking price. So that's more than half are selling above their asking price. The highest ever was April of last year at 72.9%. Now, prior to COVID, the highest ever was 40%. What this tells me is that the overall market dynamics that we're dealing with right now are unhealthy. And the sales to list price ratio is at 100%. Rarely is it at 100%. It's reached it prior to COVID, and during the pandemic years of the second half of 2020, 2021, the first half of 2022, it was above 100%, but it's been at 100% now for 3 months. So that means that on average, everything's selling above their list price, or right at their list price. Now, the lower ranges, it shows that in the more affordable ranges, it's definitely selling above the asking price. In the more luxury ranges, it's selling a little bit below. So overall, on average, it's selling for the asking price. And here's another concern: time on market. We're right now in the teens. It's June was at a 15-day for the market, the days on market for all closed properties in the state of California, and that was the middle value. And last year at this time, it was at 14 days, so it's very, very similar to where we were last year. We were a lot higher. Now, where do I expect it to go from here? Typically, it starts to rise, but it typically starts to rise starting July on. So I'm expecting this rise so that things slow down a little bit, and then it slows down for the remainder of the year, and then you get to January, and then it starts to fall again. So which leads me to the forecast, and where are we going to go from here? So the Southern California forecast, where we're going to go is the active inventory is only going to grow slightly for the next couple of weeks, next few weeks, and it will most likely peak somewhere in August. And I'm thinking like middle of August, it peaks a little bit higher than where it's at right now, and then it will drop. It slowly drops through the fall, the autumn, and then we get to the holidays, and then it plunges, and it really drops. Where this inventory is taking us is it's going to be a little bit less than 2021 or very similar to 2021. And what that means is that the start to 2024 is going to be the lowest on record, or tie for lowest on record, which was that orange line at the very beginning. We had nothing on the market, and that's what 2024 is already lining up to be. Now, as far as demand is concerned, I actually think that we're going to get rates that come down just a bit. And even if they come down just a bit, what it's shown us is we've been stuck right around 7%, and the demand has been remaining pretty flat and not really gone down. But if rates go down even a bit, what's going to happen is we're going to have demand go up a little bit, and then it will follow that same trend line for the remainder of the year where it comes down. And you can see that orange line, that was last year. It'll be a little bit higher than last year at this time, which means closed sales will be a little bit more than they were last year at this time for the second half of the year. And but keep in mind demand, and this is the MBA Purchase Application Index, and you can see right here that we're stuck at a very low level, and the low level, we've been here before. Now the reason it's not out of control, this was never some credit bubble like it was prior to the Great Recession, and instead it's been stuck right around these levels where it's pretty low. It's been comparable in other years, in 2014 and 2015, but that is when we had fewer buyers. We have a lot more millennials that want to purchase, etc., in the marketplace right now. So this is low. The only way that this goes up from here, and we've established a bottom, is when rates come down a little bit, which is what is anticipated. Just slightly, we'll change this quite a bit. And this is the Southern California expected market time. This is you place your home on the market when you open an escrow. It's not days on market. It's something better. It takes into consideration where the inventory is at, supply, and then demand, the velocity of pending sales activity. And from that, we get this expected market time, which tells you what's going on right now today. And right now today, if you look at prior years, even the expansion years from 2013 all the way to 2019, you can see that there are very, very few times where it was hotter than where it's at today. The only time it was hotter was for a minute in 2013, and also during the COVID years of the second half of 2020 through the first half of 2022. Now, where are we going from here? The expected market time, remember, we were close to 150 days for luxury. Now, for the rest of the market, we're right around 57-day expected market time. And where I think it's going to go, it's down just a little bit in the month of August, and then it will remain flat for the rest of the year. It's not going to get hot that much hotter, but it's not going to get a lot cooler like it did the orange line last year. It's going to remain relatively flat. Now, as far as the number of homes coming on the market, this is this hunkering down effect. And it's going to continue until we get rates that come down far enough. And I'm talking we need to get rates down under 6% to bridge the gap between where fixed rates are at today to what the underlying prevailing rates are that are keeping homeowners in their homes today. 87% of all Californians, and this is through the first quarter of 2023, thanks to the aggregate mortgage, national mortgage database, 87% of Californians have anybody that has a loan has an interest rate at 5% or lower, 69% have an interest rate at 4% or lower, and 30% have an interest rate at 3% or lower. You understand why so many people are hunkering down, opting not to move. So where do I think rates are going to be? You know what? I'm going to follow, and I hope you guys all follow what's going on in the economic calendar. I've got my economic calendar. I'm constantly looking at what's going on today. Today, leading economic indicators came out, and we also saw Freddie Mac's mortgage market survey that came out today. Got to constantly look to see what's in the data. And I think in August, we're going to start to see a little breakage in some of the economic data, enough where we're going to see interest rates come down just a bit to spur that extra demand that I was talking about. If you want a copy of this, you need to be a subscriber to the Housing Report because we automatically send it to all subscribers. You can go to reportsonhousing.com and you can get the most recent one, which is affordability predicament. We'll be writing a new one this coming up Monday, and that is for Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego County. As far as as San Bernardino, Riverside, and the Bay Area, theirs came out this week. They get a new one in 2 weeks. So you can get a free month if you utilize the coupon code JULY. And I appreciate you tuning in once again. It's been fun. It's been a while. I had a lot of fun kicking back and just writing reports and answering emails and answering phone calls, but wasn't doing a lot of presentations and just enjoying the summer with the kids. But they go back to school, which is very soon. Some of my kids go back to school as early as August 10th. That is so early. Can you imagine? They're going to be back in school in August, towards the start of August, which means that this summer market is going to be ending soon, which if you're trying to tap into the summer market, you better do it now. Anyways, thank you for tuning into this Housing Debrief. Hope you have a fantastic finish to your week and a great weekend, and we will see you on the other side.